بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
His status or his sanctity or his educational background will be dented. He will be humiliated. Second thing is, if Imam wins, he will remain a figure who's only a scholar-like figure. People will say he's good for educational purposes, but he's not a good leader. So even if Mamun achieves the first objective, or even if he does not achieve the first objective, which is that Imam gets defeated, he will be able to achieve the second objective. That Imam is constantly involved in these debates and in these educational gatherings. And that's why even today we should learn this aspect. That we don't need to keep on answering, those people who are asking questions. We're always on the defensive end trying to answer these people. No, we gotta actually make a move and be on the offensive end and start posing questions, as some of, mashallah, our community members and those people who have some knowledge are posing these questions towards these brothers. Now it's their turn to answer, and it's not our turn to keep on answering and remain behind and always be succumb to answering their questions, so we can never make any sort of progress. Let's see how Imam coped with this trap of Mamun. So the first says he's thinking that Imam will be defeated. But even if worse, Imam is not defeated, he will remain in this circle of educational gatherings. And so obviously Imam ﷺ will never come out of it. And people will realize that Imam is only good for dars, lectures, majlis, mahafil, and that's it. Imam's figure cannot step out of these gatherings, and he will be limited to only those things, and he will never touch what is going on as far as the government is concerned, as far as the leadership is concerned. We see how Imam coped with it. Firstly, not only that Imam's intellectual status did not lower by these gatherings, but in fact, Imam's knowledge, when it came out, it was able to bring even more people in the realm of Islam, in the realm of Tashayyu. When Imam would be debating with the Christian missionaries, with the other religions, they would be awed and amazed with the knowledge of Imam that he possessed, not just in the Arabic language, but even also in their own language, not just the knowledge of Quran, but also the knowledge of other scriptures, not just the knowledge of this prophet, but the knowledge of all the previous prophets, was something that was able to bring all of these people closer in the circle of Imam. That was the first thing that Imam achieved. And secondly, we see in reality, Mamun did not really grasp Imam's level of understanding. He thought Imam would be another individual. Knowing Imam so closely, he should have understood that he's not an ordinary individual. You might be able to give this sort of a picture about after many years, but at that time when people are facing it firsthand, seeing it firsthand, you will not be able to fool people. Therefore, he didn't understand what is the difference between khilafat and imamat. This is where he did not understand the difference between the two, is that Imam is someone who wants to reform the community with pure godly intentions, and this is missing as far as this sort of zahiri khilafat is concerned. It did not exist over there. This is where I want to take this moment to share with you something that Imam left as far as the messages are concerned. There's a person by the name Shah Abdul Azim Hassani. I'm sure those people who have gone to the ziyarat of Imam Rada, or those who have gone to the ziyarat of Qum and Mashhad, they must have done the ziyarat of Shah Abdul Azim Hassani. Shah Abdul Azim Hassani is a person who was in the time of 4 Imams. He witnessed 4 of our Imams: 8th Imam, 9th Imam, 10th Imam, and as well as 11th Imam. He has that sharaf. And in fact, it is a hadith from one of our later Imams that when a person came from Shahr-e-Rai, where he's buried, Imam asked that person, "Did you do the ziyarat of Abdul Azim Hassani?" He said, "Yes, Imam, I did the ziyarat of Abdul Azim Hassani." He said, "The ziyarat of Abdul Azim Hassani has the same reward for the ziyarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam." This is how our 11th or 10th Imam is comparing Shah Abdul Azim Hasani. But we see, why did he get this status? There's a hadith by Shaykh Mufid in his Ikhtisar, and he quotes it from Abdul Azim Hasani. He's called Hasani because he's from the descendants of 2nd Imam. Obviously, that's why he's referred to as Shah Abdul Azim Hasani. And we see that he's quoting Imam Raza directly when he says, Qala Ya Abdul Azim. When Imam addressed him, he said, Oh Abdul Azim, Abligh anni awliyai as-salam. He said, convey from me my salam to my followers. Imam of the time is asking Abdul Azim Hasani to convey his salam to the awliya, to those who are the lovers and the followers. وَقُلْ لَهُمْ لَا يَجْعَلُوا لِلشَّيْطَانِ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ سَبِيلًا. Do not let shaitan penetrate into your hearts. And then he says, وَمُرْهُمْ بِالصِّدْقِ فِي الْحَدِيثِ. And when you pass by other individuals, you speak to them with pure and righteous speech. Sidq al-hadith. Although, however, talq it might be, but use sidq al-hadith. وَأَدَاءِ الْأَمَانَةِ. And make sure that you are upright as far as paying off the amanah is concerned. وَمُرْهُمْ بِالسُّكُوتِ وَتَرْكِ الْجِدَالِ إِلَىٰ. This 11th hadith will just only focus on these 4 things that Imam is conveying to Abdul Azim Hasani, and inshallah this will be the message from Imam Raza to the followers of the vilayat of Imam Raza alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam is sending salams to his Shia. Imagine, when you go to different places, if you travel back home, or when you come back from, let's say if you travel to Hyderabad and you came back from Hyderabad and someone said, oh, so-and-so had conveyed his salam to you. When that person, when you're giving this message that so-and-so had sent his salam, and if that person was of some sort of honor and status, how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel? Imagine, you always end up giving the examples of the kings and the rulers and the presidents and whatnot. Imagine if a ruler of a state sends his salutations to you. How will you feel after receiving that salutation from not just an ordinary individual, an individual who himself is very honorable? You'll be honored. This is where you and I should feel honored. Shah Abdul Azim Hasani is responsible for conveying his salam to you and I. Imagine when Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari is told by Rasulullah that, oh Jabir, you will see among my descendants one of them whose name is my name, whose character is my character. And when you run into him, when you see him, convey my salam to him. And this is where we see Jabir at that old age, when he can't even see, now he can barely see. He's looking at there's only one last hope that he had in his life, that he's able to convey the salam that Rasulullah has sent to his descendants. And when he runs into Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu he conveys that salam. Look, Rasulullah is sending salam to Imam al-Baqir. So this is not something which is out of the blue, that our Imam al-Raza is sending salutations and salams onto you and I. So we should feel honor as Imam al-Raza is conveying his salam. That's the first thing. Whenever you want to say something to someone, you want to get their attention, you want to grab their attention. How do you grab their attention? By giving them something which surprises them. It's something which is so astonishing that by hearing it, people are right away focused and looking at you and they're waiting to hear what is going to come next. By giving the salam, now Imam has your attention. Once he has your attention, he gives the message. He says, "La قُلْ لَهُمْ لَا يَجْعَلُوا لِلشَّيْطَانِ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ سَبِيلًا." Tell, O Abdul Azim Hasani, to my followers, do not let shaitan penetrate in your nufus. Do not open the doors for him to come in. How do we do that? Why is Imam telling us to not do that? Have we been doing this? Have we opened the doors and the gates to shaitan? We look at it that sometimes, a DVD could be, the means and opening the doors to shaitan. Sometimes a book could be a means to opening the doors to shaitan. Sometimes, other friends could be the means of opening the doors to shaitan. All of these could be some of the means and some of the ways that shaitan could penetrate into your hearts. Imam is saying, do not let shaitan penetrate into your nufus. We see sometimes a magazine could do the same thing. Haram earning is also something which opens the doors for shaitan to come in. You say, Alhamdulillah, I make halal money. Alhamdulillah, you make halal money. I'm working 9 to 5, but I'm, doing IT stuff for a big, alcohol company. Yeah, your work, you're doing 9 to 5 diligently, but where you're working, what are you buying? What are you selling? Secondly, if you're not working for an alcohol company, you're working for someone who is legitimate, but you never pay khums, you never pay zakat. What happens to that? Again, the money becomes illegal earning. Kasbul haram. In a hadith says, Kasbul haram yubinu fi zuhriya. Luqmatul haram rather. Luqmatul haram yubinu fi zuhriya. That one morsel of haram will leave its imprints onto the progeny. This is how you invite shaitan. This is how you let shaitan penetrate what Imam al-Rala is warning and telling, Oh Abdul Azim Hasani, tell my followers, La yaj'alu lish-shaytan fi anfusihim sabila. Do not let shaitan penetrate into their hearts. Then Imam said what? Murhum bis-sidqi fil hadith. When you speak to them, make sure that it is true. A buyer, when he's selling something, someone says, is it going to be, is it going to last this long? Or is it going to get rotten? Say the truth. Don't just because you want to increase your sales, that you go ahead and keep on lying about that. If someone is asking you something and you do not know, do not just go ahead and make up the answer for the sake of feeling ashamed that I know everything. It is actually a bigger courage if a person can go ahead and say, La adri. And I'll give you an example. Who said La adri? None other than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You get worried that if I said no, people will say, Maulana, you don't know. Then what have you done? What have you studied? Maulana Suddin का वाक़या कि वो लोग आए और आके उनसे सवाल किया. जब सवाल किया तो उनका मुझे जवाब नहीं मालूम. कहा इतना बड़ा अमामत सर पर रखा हुआ और आपको जवाब नहीं मालूम. उन्होंने अमामत उतार के उनके सर पर रख दिया. कहा अगर इस अमामे से मुझे इल्म आ रहा था तो आपके सर पर रख दिया, आप जवाब दे दीजिए. Bigger knowledge is if you don't know, have the courage to say no, I don't know. Imam is saying always pass by the people with clear and truthful speech. Who said I don't know? Rasulullah. Quran, Surah Jinn, verse number 25, chapter 72, verse 25. He said, قُلْ إِنْ أَدْرِي أَقَرِيبٌ مَا تُوعَدُونَ أَمْ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ رَبِّي أَمَدًا. Prophet, when he was asked in regards to Qiyamah, what does he say? O Muhammad, say to them, I do not know whether which Allah has appointed for you is close by or has been delayed for a while. Prophet is saying, In adri, I do not know. Allah is telling Prophet to tell these people, I do not know. Now that does not decrease anything from the ilm of Rasulullah. Rasulullah has the maximum amount of ilm after Zat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no doubt about that. No one else will be compared with as far as the knowledge of Rasulullah is concerned. But this is bigger when he, with all the possession of the knowledge, comes and says, Inna adri. I do not know that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed for you. Is it close by or is it going to come later on? So what did Muhammad the next thing that Imam informed Abdul Azim Hasani, said, Wa ada il amana. Oh Abdul Azim Hasani, when my people ask you about something, tell them about paying off the trusts and the dues of other individuals. Why Allah said, Inna Allah ya'murukum an ta'uddu al-amanata ila ahliha. Allah in Quran, God commands you to return that which has been entrusted to you by the rightful owners. Be just when passing judgment among the people, God advises. He's the most noble, and He sees and He hears every single thing. So Imam ﷺ gave a very clear message to all of us. 4 things. First, Imam is sending his salam. Second, Imam ﷺ is telling us that make sure the truth speech is something that you utilize. Imam says that do not let shaitan penetrate into your heart. And Imam is saying make sure that you are upright when as far as comes to the paying off the amanat are concerned. This is where I want to take some time. I do have a few minutes in my hand, in my possession. That ahmiyat, what is that Imam is waiting from his followers? We want to know, this is the wiladat of Imam Raza. That what is it that Imam Raza is asking us? What is it that Imam Raza expects from us? Tomorrow when we are presented, inshallah I'll mention at the end as well, as one of the things that Imam Raza himself has promised, is that a person who comes to the ziyarat of Imam Raza, he promises that I will go ahead and visit that person in 3 places where he is in need the most. Imagine this. Imam ﷺ, he is ghareeb dus, ghareeb al-ghuraba. Because of this ghurbat of Imam, he says, the one who comes and visits me in Shahr Qus, in Mashhad, I will visit that individual in 3 places, on 3 occasions where that person is mostly in need. I'm sure you've heard this hadith. First, in the ihtizar, when the death is coming upon you and the nafs is being dragged out of your bodies. We don't know how that feels. Imam Raza said, I'll come and make that amal and affair easy for you. Allahu Akbar. Second, he said, if you come and do my ziyarat, I'll come and visit you in qabr, in the qabr. Qabr where there's fishari qabr, qabr where there's question and answer from Munkin and Nakir. Imam said, I'll come and make that affair easy upon you. Just because you come and do my ziyarat sincerely. Third, Imam says, in the qiyamah. In qiyamah, when everyone is running away from every individual. Father running away from children, mother running away from her kids, spouses running away from one another, brothers and sisters. Imam says, this is where you need me the most. I will come and visit you and make sure that you are not fleeing away from anyone. These are the benefits of doing the ziyarat. Sometimes we take ziyarat for granted. If you can't do the ziyarat, you have the means to go ahead and do the ziyarat from long distance by reciting these ziyarat, which are mansus, which are there taught to us by other masumeen. So what is the expectation of Imam from the Shia? Imam says, test my followers and test my Shias with 3 things. If you want to test them with 3 things. This is the call from Imam Raza as well. He says, test them with 3 things. First, he says, ahmiyat bin namaz. Test them with namaz. If my followers, are they performing their salat on time, or are they delaying the salat without a reason? Yes, if there's a reason, Sharia gives you the permission. There's a lengthy period for Dhuhr and Asr. That's why nobody really makes Dhuhr and Asr qaza. But because there's a very short period for Fajr prayers, a lot of people end up making their Fajr prayers to be qaza. But Dhuhr Asr, you really don't hear that anyone is praying qaza. But that too happens sometimes. Imam said, if you want to test those who are the real followers, remember, there were people who came to see Imam from Medina. They came all the way to Mashhad. They knocked on the door. Imam would not give permission to come in. They knocked again on the door the next day. Imam did not let them in. They kept on trying for many days, and then they lost hope. And so we had lost hope, and they were going back. This is where when they came last time on the door of Imam saying that, oh Imam, we are your Shia. We had come to see you all the way from Medina, and you're not giving us a chance to see you. This is where Imam sees them. He said, La ara fi wujuhikum simahu Shia. How come I do not see on your faces that which should be shown on the faces of a Shia? Asar as-sujud, all of those things. I do not see that on your faces. Simahu Shia. That which distinguishes a Shia from another individual. Don't call yourself to be Shia. You know who's the Shia? Salman was the Shia. Miqdad was Shia. Abu Dhar was Shia. If you can get to that level, then go ahead and call yourself to be the Shia. So I did Muhammad wa Allah. Shia, test them with namaz. Are they taking care of their prayer on time or not? And that's why you see that even our 8th Imam on his deathbed, when he brings all of his family members close, what does he say? Amida Khatun mentions this and narrates this to Abu Basir. He said, La yanalu shafa'atuna man istahafa bis-salat. Our actions, if we thought for a second that our actions are good enough to take us on the other side, then we are mistaken. Our actions will only be taking us to the extent where the shafa'at will come in and go ahead and do the rest of the job. But Imam is saying, La yanalu shafa'atana man istahafa bis-salat. Our shafa'at will not reach out to that individual who takes namaz lightly, for granted. Imam did not say the one who doesn't pray. Why? Because there's an ayat in Quran for the one who doesn't pray. Surah Mudassir, what does it say? Ma salatakum fi saqar. What happened that you ended up being in the hell? قَالُوا لَمْ نَكُنْ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. We were not among the musallin. We were not among those who used to pray. Those who didn't pray, they're ending up in the saqar. This is Surah Mudassir. Read those ayat. Imam over here is saying the one who doesn't take care or pray on time, in other words, or take the salat lightly, la yanalu shafa'at. Our shafa'at will not reach out to that individual. So we see that is the first expectation of Imam Rida, that if you want to test a Shia, test them with this salat. Second thing that he said, hifz asrar. That are they making sure that they're able to keep the secrets of other individuals and other things. If a Shia is Shia waqi'i, he'll be able to keep the asrar and the hidden secrets of other individuals. Allah is Sattarul Uyub. He wants you to have the same quality in you, to be Sattarul Uyub as well. Imagine, remember that incident, I don't know if I mentioned it over here or not, that when Hazrat Isa ﷺ is traveling with his companions. And when he was in a place of worship with his companions, and he asked them, and he was giving them a wa'az. He said, imagine if one of your brothers were sleeping and some of his body parts were exposed. So for example, if a person was sleeping without a blanket or anything over here, and if they were dressed in a way that their body parts were exposed. And to the extent if their private parts were exposed, what will you do? All the companions. So if I was to ask you the same question, all the companions replied by saying, definitely we'll cover it. We won't leave a person, a mu'min, laying with his body parts exposed, with his private parts exposed. We'll go ahead and put a cover onto it. Even if he doesn't have a cover, we'll take our and we'll put a cover onto this person. Hazrat Isa said, no. Not only that you will not cover, فَتَكْشَفُونَ. You will expose it even further. This is where they understood that Hazrat Isa was not talking about a physical person sleeping and his body parts were exposed. He said, I'm talking about when you hear about the secrets of other individuals, how instead of putting a lid onto it, you go ahead and further expose that individual. That's the same thing. Imagine if someone was sleeping and their private parts were exposed. You're further exposing them. So this is the second thing Imam Rida is saying. The message is, make sure if you want to test them if they are hafiz asrar or not. And lastly, we see that Imam Rida is saying, test our Shias in as far as their wealth is concerned. Always Imam bring this wealth part as well. That are they able to use this wealth for the rightful purpose or not? Are they able to use this wealth to be able to take care of those who are less fortunate in the society? And if they're able to do that, that is one of the signs of those who are considered to be the Shias of Ahlul-Bayt ﷺ. Unfortunately, I don't have further time to go into the details that I had brought in, but we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to be able to follow the teachings and the commands that Imam Rida ﷺ has left for us. Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq that we live up to the expectations from our 8th Imam, Imam Rida ﷺ. Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq to be able to act on those actions that Shah Abdul Azim Hassani was given by Imam Rida ﷺ. Allah hasten the zuhur of our way to Imam and make us among the helpers and the soldiers for Imam. Ra'aful dawana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima.